After 55 years, one of the most iconic regional parks in the Midwest is about to erase its own name. Six Flags St. Louis, the park millions of Missouri families grew up in, is officially becoming Mid-America by Enchanted Parks. Batman is probably getting a new name. The DC theming you've known for decades is almost certainly on its way out. And the people who now run this park openly admitted that during the biggest attendance boom in modern theme park history, this park somehow missed it entirely. Today I'm telling you exactly what's happening, what it means for the park you grew up with, and whether this rebrand is a genuine fresh start or a slow motion identity crisis. Hey theme park fans, my name's Timothy Sebastian and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I cover theme park news, straight, no fluff, and I tell you what I actually think, not just what gets the clicks. So let's get into this one. Let's start at the beginning because the name Mid-America is not actually new. It's a callback and a pretty clever one at that. The park opened on June 5th, 1971 as Six Flags over Mid-America, the third park ever built by the original Six Flags company, following Six Flags over Texas and Six Flags over Georgia. Of those three original parks, this is the only one fully operated and owned by the Six Flags Corporation itself. The other two are run by separate limited partnerships. For roughly a quarter of the century, it ran under that name, then became Six Flags St. Louis for the 1997 season, at least according to some sources. I want to be straightforward with you because there is a genuine discrepancy in that record. Wikipedia's body text say 1997, but other databases like Coasterpedia put the rename in 1996, tied to the park's 25th anniversary. So somewhere around 1996 or 97, the name changed and nobody has a clean, agreed upon paper trail on the exact year. Either way, for a generation of St. Louis families, the Six Flag name is tied to real childhood memories. That's decades of emotional equity the new ownership is choosing to walk away from. Now, here's where the current story starts. On March 4th and 5th of 2026, Six Flags Entertainment announced it was selling 7 of its parks to a real estate investment trust called EPR Properties. And I want to be careful with the dollar figure because it moves depending on the source. The original purchase agreement reportedly specified around $319 million. Most initial 2026 coverage cited $331 million, while EPR's own investor disclosure and later reporting it put it at $342 million. So reports have put this deal anywhere from roughly $319 million to $342 million, depending on the source. So those parks include Michigan's Adventure, Worlds of Fun Kansas City, Valley Fair, Six Flags Great Escape, Schlitterbahn Galveston, La Ronde in Montreal, and right here in our own backyard, Six Flags St. Louis. And here's a detail that genuinely surprised me. St. Louis almost wasn't a part of the deal at all. According to Harhi, in an interview with St. Louis Post-Dispatch, this park wasn't originally part of the sale. Enchanted Parks specifically pushed it to have it added, calling it the crown jewel of the whole portfolio. The park a lot of us grew up in almost got left out of its own rescue deal, which is quite baffling. The 6 US parks are now operated by a new company called Enchanted Parks, based out of Orlando. Their CEO and founder is named James Harhi, and I want his background exactly right because it's easy to misread. Harhi got a start in the amusement industry 30 years ago as a lifeguard at Walt Disney World's Contemporary Resort back in 1996. He became a recreational specialist there, but only stayed about 6 years, leaving Disney in 2002. The 30 years ago refers to when his industry career began, not the length of his Disney tenure. Afterwards, he spent 2 decades building his own companies before founding Enchanted Parks. It's a real 30-year career, just not a 30-year Disney career, and that distinction matters. Now, how big was Enchanted Parks before the deal? This is the part I really want to be correct on because coverage blurs it constantly. Before acquiring these 6 former Six Flags properties, Enchanted Parks operated exactly 2 properties: Water Safari Resort in Old Forge, New York, and Diggerland in USA, New Jersey. That's it. The commonly repeated line that Enchanted Parks was already the 3rd largest privately held regional park operator, running 8 locations, describes the total after this deal closes. 2 existing properties plus 6 newly acquired parks. Harhi himself said it plainly: 1 + 2 + 6 = 8 in a very short amount of time. This deal roughly quadrupled the company overnight. Here's what I want you to hold on to. This is not just a name change. Everything you associate Six Flags, St. Louis, the pricing, the characters, the season pass structure, the culture, all of this is now on the table. I want to spend real time on something the new CEO said publicly because it deserves way more attention that it's been getting. Between 2021 and 2024, the theme park industry had what analysts called a super boom. Disney, Universal, even smaller regional operators saw some of the best attendance in years recorded, driven by post-pandemic demand hitting the whole industry at once. James Harhi, in an interview with Leader Publications out of Jefferson County, put it bluntly: the amusement world had a boom in 2021 through 2024. It was actually some of the best years of any amusement park. This park did not benefit from that boom. It was unlike anything else I'd seen in the industry. We looked at this as just being out of touch with the market. And his team dug into the data and determined it wasn't a market decline problem. People weren't leaving St. Louis. The park had simply fallen out of touch with its audience. That's a significant admission right there. The anchor theme park for St. Louis Metro missed a 4-year industry-wide attendance surge. And that's not just bad luck. That's a management problem that compounded for years. The last major new ride the park received was the Joker Carnival of Chaos, opened in September 2024. A quick note for the coaster purist out there: that's technically a pendulum flat ride, not a roller coaster, even though it gets talked about like one. Before that, you'd have to look back considerably further for meaningful capital investments. Meanwhile, nearby regional parks were making major moves. Silver Dollar City in Branson announced a $500 million 10-year development plan in October of 2024, the largest investment in that park's 65-year history. And just this past July, Holiday World in Indiana announced a new $22 million water roller coaster called Cannonball, its largest single attraction investment ever, opening May of 2027. The gap between what St. Louis was getting and what the regional market was seeing kept widening. Guests noticed and they voted with their feet. To be fair, Six Flags as a corporation had its own chaos during that stretch. The Cedar Fair merger, announced in November of 2023, closed on July 1st, 2024, with combined company trading as Six Flags Entertainment Corporation the next day. Corporate attention was divided, but guests at Six Flags St. Louis didn't care about a merger happening in the boardrooms. They cared whether the park was worth their time. A lot decided it wasn't, though. All right, let's get into the part fans actually care about. What happens to the rides and when? In 2026, essentially nothing. The park still operates as Six Flags St. Louis this season. EPR Properties retain rights to the Six Flags brand through the end of 2026. So the rides are the same, the characters are still there, and last year's passes still work. In the CEO's own framing, 2026 is a transition year. 2027 is where things start to change. Six Flags St. Louis operates under licensing deals with Warner Brothers, Discovery for DC Comics, and Looney Tunes characters. Batman, Catwoman Whip, Supergirl Skyflyer, Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, Justice League, Battle for Metropolis. These rides exist because of Six Flags holding those IP licenses, tied to Six Flags brand specifically. Here's the wrinkle, and it's genuinely one of the more interesting details in the story. According to KMOX in St. Louis, Harhi negotiated a St. Louis-specific carve-out that could let Enchanted Parks keep using the DC and Looney Tunes characters past the standard 1-year transition window, but only if Enchanted Parks and Warner Bros. Discovery agree to continue the relationship. Harhi confirmed that this carve-out is exclusive to St. Louis. It doesn't extend to Valley Fair or Michigan's Adventure. So Batman might survive here, or he might not, and the answer reportedly hinges on partly one side: Supergirl Skyflyer. KMOX tied this to the Supergirl movie's 2026 theatrical release, a real promotion opportunity. Harhi said it himself: "We do have Supergirl opening this year as a movie, and I've talked to our team. We should be working with DC to do promotions around the Supergirl movie and our Supergirl ride." So what's almost certainly going away, regardless, is the physical DC branding. There's a giant DC etched in concrete in the DC Comics Plaza, and that's going. Bugs Bunny National Park needs a new name. Justice League Battle for Metropolis is in a genuinely complicated spot. In an April 2026 interview with Coaster 101, Harhi explained 2026 is being spent gathering attendance data, with 2027 used mostly for planning. In his words, guests really probably should not expect any new big attractions in these parks until I would think at least 2028, maybe even 2029 or 2030. Temper your expectations if you're hoping for a shiny new coaster. Some changes have already happened though. Enchanted Parks scrapped the Legacy Six Flags all-season dining plan for 2026. Harhi told Attraction magazines, "We cannot continue to do what Six Flags did because these parks are not Six Flags," calling the elimination the most complicated thing we're doing. Most food prices have roughly dropped 20 to 30%. Some items falling from as high as $20 to $23 into the mid-teens with an added discount for pass holders. And the transition did happen rather fast. Enchanted Parks didn't formally take control until April 7th of 2026, and the park opened for the season April 25th, under 3 weeks to get everything ready. Only 2 attractions were offline opening day. One was a seasonal water ride that typically opens later anyway. Harhi also focused on staffing. The park hires more than 2,000 seasonal employees and about 70 full-time maintenance workers, confirmed directly by the park's spokeswoman. Here's the thing, and I'll say this. The fact that Harhi negotiated to potentially keep DC and Looney Tunes licensing when he technically didn't have to tells you something. He understands what those characters mean to this market. Whether he can hold on to them long term is a different question. Now, let me give you my actual take on the rebrand itself. Mid-America by Enchanted Parks is a deliberate nostalgia play. Harhi clearly knows older St. Louis visitors remember the park's original name. He's trying to thread a needle, signal a fresh start, while connecting the new era to the park's pre-corporate roots. I respect that he did his homework on local history instead of slapping a generic corporate name on it. Here's my concern though. The name doesn't travel easily, and it doesn't look clean on a hat or a billboard. Six Flags, for all of its recent problems, instantly says theme park to anyone in the country. Mid-America by Enchanted Parks says something closer to regional operator in transition, or at least outside this market. Harhi does have an ambitious expansion vision, and I want to get this number right because it's been misreported elsewhere. He didn't name a flat target of 15 parks. In an IAAPA interview, he said Enchanted Parks would probably have the opportunity to acquire another 5 to 7 parks in the next couple of years. Starting from a base of 8 after this deal, that puts a realistic range at somewhere between 13 and 15 parks. Not a hard target of 15. That's a meaningful difference between a stated range and a promise. If that growth does happen, the brand carries more national weight over time. But right now, in St. Louis specifically, they're trading a nationally known name for one most fans outside Missouri have never heard. The risk is that the rebrand, combined with the likely loss of at least some DC theming and the confirmed absence of major new rides until 2028 or later, leaves longtime fans feeling like they're getting less and not a fresh start. The genuine upside, and there actually is a real one, is that Harhi has shown his operating philosophy openly. He wants lower food prices, and he's already delivered those with the 20 to 30% cuts. He wants better staffing, and he wants the park to feel like it's a part of the Eureka community rather than a distant corporate asset. This park is a major employer of a town of roughly 10,000 people with 2,000 seasonal jobs and 70 full-time maintenance workers. If new ownership delivers on those promises and eventually brings a real capital investment once 2028 arrives, the name on the sign will matter a lot less than it does right now. One structural detail shifts how skeptical we should be though. This isn't a short-term management flip. Harhi has repeatedly emphasized that Enchanted Parks signed a 40-year master lease with EPR Properties, drawing a sharp line against past operator turnover. We're not a management company who will be fired 3 years from now and somebody else will come in and it'll be Bob's Parks in 2030. This is a long-term agreement. He also noted Enchanted Parks puts its own capital alongside EPR's money rather than EPR bankrolling it solo. That's a genuinely different incentive than a park flipped between owners every few years. And there's one more thing that Harhi said that sums up his approach. He compared it to Disney Springs still being called Downtown Disney, by a longtime guest years after that rename. We joke about having Six Flags Road that we live on, and somebody was like, everybody is still going to call the park Six Flags. Coming from Disney, well, I still call it Downtown Disney. I don't call it Disney Springs. So that's okay if people call us Six Flags St. Louis next year. I've got bigger problems than that. He knows Six Flags is probably sticking around in the casual conversation for a long time, regardless of what the sign says. Here's where I land personally. I want this park to succeed. I want Enchanted Parks to prove the skeptics wrong and give Missouri families a regional park worth being proud of again. But wanting something to succeed and believing the current strategy is optimal are two different things, and I have real questions about this rebrand that every St. Louis area fan should be asking right now. So here's where we actually are. Six Flags St. Louis, a park with 55 years of history under one name or another, is spending its last season under the Six Flags brand in 2027. In 2027, a rebrand begins that may or may not preserve the DC characters, will definitely change most of the signage, and is being led by a CEO who came up as a Disney lifeguard and believes he can turn this park around by getting closer to his community, not running it like a distant corporate asset. Don't expect major new rides before 2028. Food prices are already down 20 to 30%, and the current 2026 season pass promo has run as low as $103.99, with single-day tickets around $55.99. There's real measurable change happening before the name officially flips. Now, I'm going to be watching this rather closely. Every major development, every ride announcement, every licensing update. I'll be covering it. If you want that coverage, go ahead and subscribe and turn on those notifications. That's genuinely how I know to keep making these videos. And I want to hear from you directly in the comments. If you grew up going to this park under the Six Flags name, does Mid-America by Enchanted Parks feel like a fresh start? Or does it feel like losing a piece of your own childhood? I think this one is going to split the audience, and I want to hear both sides, not just the loudest take. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. My name's Timothy Sebastian, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.